Welcome to the little bit before the show actually starts, people that are watching the video.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very special moment of time that you are privy to.
Coming to you live from New York City. It's Sunday evening live.
Yeah. We should do like a funny, like, you know how they do like the intro skits.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the actual show.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Hello and welcome to Paradise. You are listening to Green Dudes, the only Green Day podcast that matters. You are here with your host, that is me, Connor Mack. And as always, I am here with my best pal in the Green Day verse, Green Day comrade in arms, BFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFF Connor, how the heck are you doing?
I'm all right, man.
Yeah,
I'm all right. I'm okay.
totally.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the issue? What's the issue?
There,
Let it out.
no.
Let it out. Let it out, buddy.
No. No, there's no issue. I mean, there's plenty of issues. I
Yeah,
have issues.
you do have issues.
Uh, I
Everyone
do.
knows that you have issues.
Yeah. You could tell.
Big time.
Sometimes you just look at a person
see it
and you're
in
like, they have issues.
you see it in the face, you know.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
can see
true.
it in the face, really.
That's why I was so apprehensive about transitioning to the video form of the podcast
Yeah.
because you can mask a lot just using your voice.
Oh, absolutely.
I felt very comfortable in the audio only podcast world, and you said,
I
Connor,
know.
we are talking about Dookie.
Yep.
We are in our professional mainstream studio recording era.
We are.
And we have to launch the video portion of this podcast alongside Green Day's first music video.
Yeah, I did say that.
And when you said that, Connor, I could feel this rock in the pit of my stomach because the people are gonna see me. Everyone that we call out at the end of our episode, when we go through and we read the comments, they're gonna see me and they're gonna go, you know what? You're no different from us, pal.
Yeah, I know. Like, look at this chump. Who does he think he is?
Uh-huh.
Criticizing me for making a comment when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I knew you were apprehensive. Like many things in our friendship, I just had to push you off the deep end a little bit. And I think it worked out. But that's the thing, though, and I don't know if we've brought this up on the podcast. We've gotten many comments or a handful of comments from people since we have made the switch to video to the effect of, wow, that's what you guys look like.
Yeah.
I didn't think you looked like that.
And the funniest thing is, in none of the comments where people have said that, have they specified whether that's good or bad. Yeah, it's always left up completely to interpretate. I have no idea from the context of these comments if it's like, oh wow, you're like way better looking than I thought, or if it's like, oh yeesh, like these bad, guys, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You got faces made for radio. Yeah, I think the lack of clarification there does kind of say it all. You know,
it's kind of telling, isn't it?
It's kind of telling. Yeah, it is. And I mean, honestly, though, for listeners, maybe there's people that haven't. I'm sure there's people that have listened and just have not watched or seen us at all. Like, what do you think we look like? Like what was your imaginary version of us in your head before you found out reality and got disappointed?
Yeah, I would love to hear that. I would love to see like a artist rendition. I want to see like a fucking police sketch or something of a wanted criminal, but for us, you know, like that's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely. That would be good. So I mean, if anyone can do that for us, or just provide a detailed description, I'd like to know. Did you think we were like hunky? Like uh we were both like hunky Adonis types?
Yeah. Because
Because
that's what I usually
yeah,
assume people would imagine, right? Like
I
just from our
understand
voices, right?
exactly by our voices. I do understand
Like
getting that
hunky,
impression.
Adonis type. That's probably what's
Yes,
coming to your mind.
Greek statues,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
It's like
Um,
a Greek statue, but wearing a fucking a house coat, a robe.
yeah, where yeah,
We both have our
wearing
robes. Yeah.
we have our robes on. Yeah, I mean, the only thing we have in common with like the Roman statue type is the little penis.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I was gonna be like, don't say it. Like, I knew what you were gonna say.
The only thing we got in common with those guys. Um. Anyways, so right before we started, were you gonna say something?
No, go on.
Okay. Right before we started recording, we kind of I want to get into this because I want to encourage people to watch the video. So right before right before we started recording the podcast, we start streaming live. And so for people that are listening to this audio only, there's a good maybe 10 seconds of Green Dude's content that you're missing out on by not watching the video. So that's just a little incentive. That's a little perk for the people that watch the video. 10 bonus seconds, approximately. And Connor, do you want to do the thing that you did before? Because this is a because
I don't
we're
want to because that's as you're saying, Connor.
okay.
That is that is something that you miss
It
if you're not
is.
on the stream. So
It
it feels
is.
like if I do it, then it's kind of
Well,
like why would anyone tune in?
sometimes like podcasts that have Patreons, they'll like release one exclusive paywall
Yeah,
episode to the public just to get them incentivized, just to
right.
you know um
Okay,
promote it.
get
All right,
ready. This was it. I said
all right.
live from New York. It's Sunday evening live.
There we go.
Pretty funny.
It was funny, and it's fitting because we are recording this on Sunday evening. And
Yeah,
I mean, Connor, you're in New York.
that's right.
I'm pretty much in New York. I'm like pretty much. I'm like as close to like the real heart of the city as you are. So, um, you know, we're just two New York boys.
Yeah, I mean,
Two new.
you are a New York boy. You're you know
I
that
was. I am.
you ever hear like a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court? Well, you're a New Yorker guy in Connecticut's place court
Yeah,
in Connecticut,
in Connecticut. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I was born in New York.
and you'll die in New
And
York.
I will die in New York. That has been I mean, that's just been prophesized to me.
Yeah, that was foretold to
It's
you,
going to
right?
happen. I was
That was your
foretold.
one question. Yeah,
That was the one question I had to the foretellers.
yeah.
Yes. And where yeah, anyways, Connor, how's your weekend going? How have things been over in the Big Apple?
Yeah, they're fine. How have things been in the Big Apple? What kind of question is that? I don't know what you I don't know what you want me to tell you. They're fine.
I just want some I don't know. I mean,
I
I'm
don't have
kind
an
of out of
update.
the I want a New York City. Oh, maybe this is a good segment for us. Give us a New York minute.
Okay.
A 1 minute update of the status of New York.
Okay. It's getting worse.
Okay.
Every minute, every 60 seconds, something somewhere is
Yeah.
deteriorated more than it was before.
Yep.
Things are in turmoil. It's a state of emergency.
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
30 seconds left.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
It's not a very good segment.
If
Not.
you can call it the New York half minute.
Yeah. The New
Yeah.
York 30.
Yeah,
NY30.
New York 30. Yeah, NY30. That's good.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. The thing is like I'm a New York guy, but I don't really consider myself a New York City guy.
okay, yeah,
Does that make sense? Like I
it
live
does.
in and around the city, but I'm a transplant. I consider
Yeah,
myself and listen, if you're audio only, you probably can tell just from my manner of speaking. And I swear, if you get a look at my face, you're gonna say that's a fucking upstater. There's no way that fucking guy is from this. And you'd be right. You'd be completely right on both counts. I'm an upstate New York guy through and through. So, I
yeah,
take things at a little bit of a slower pace. I don't care about all the hustle and bustle. I don't
yeah,
need all the bells and whistles of the city. I just want to sit at home in my robe, you know, just just hanging out, man. That's
yeah.
that's
Drinking
me.
coffee, playing Final
Yeah.
Fantasy.
Yeah, that's my life in the Big Apple. So there you
All
go.
right. Well, there we go, Connor. You did it. You
A New York
surpassed the
minute.
minute. You surpassed the New York minute, anyways. So
Yeah.
congratulations. Um, yeah, I just woke up like an hour ago.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because you started your overnight shifts, right?
Yeah, I've been working overnight the last week. Um, and so it's been pretty good. Just today and yesterday, I keep on. I've been having like just sleeping during the day is actually very easy for me, but
Mhm.
it's been kind of it's the weekend, so there's noises, so people are noisy during the day, and so I've been like waking up um here and there, and so usually I wake up at I try to wake up at like 4, but I had to sleep some more today. Um and yeah, I mean, it's been good, but I feel like I sound tired, so that's why that's what I'm
Yeah.
referencing. That's
Well, well,
and I owe it to the audience to be real here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll leave it up to the audience. For the record, too, you look tired. You don't just sound
Thank you.
tired. You
Thanks.
you you do also look tired, and
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
it's not just because you're wearing your robe.
No, yeah, it's the
There's just a
whole
tiredness about you. Like you
yes.
look worn down.
Yeah, I've
You've looked better. That's all.
yeah, I mean, I've seen better days. I've seen better days. Um, yeah, so that's my Connecticut 15 CT
Yeah.
15, which
So
is
so
that's good because that's a road in Connecticut, Route 15.
Oh, yeah, yep, that
Yeah.
and Connecticutians, they'll
Connecticutians will know. They will know.
they they will know
Yeah.
they will know, the Connecticuties, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna know.
I mean, you can
Um,
call them nutmeggers is the
yeah,
common
yeah. But something
phrase.
about that, it doesn't feel like you should say that.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like a slur
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah, those damn nutmeggers.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Just
true.
coming from a New Yorker, upstate or otherwise, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I should call it that might be a Connecticut word, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, Connecticut only. Yeah. I think I have the pass.
No, you
Just
do, for
because
sure.
I've lived so long in
Yeah.
Connecticut, so,
Have you
I
lived
think
in
I
Connecticut longer than you must have, right?
oh, yeah,
You've definitely
absolutely. Yeah, I
easily
mean,
surpassed your New York time, which is kind of funny.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a very annoying thing to go into, but, I've been back and forth, Connecticut, New York, Connecticut, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
Connecticut again. Um, so yeah, definitely I've lived the vast majority of my life here in Connecticut, and I think I'll probably live here until I'm about to die, and then I'll move back to New York.
Yes. Yeah, right. No, you'll
And
just know
yes,
and yeah.
I'll know. I'll get a little apartment in Albany to die in,
Yeah, yeah.
or
It's
maybe I'll
kind of
just die at the Holiday Inn
yeah,
in Lake
yeah,
George,
that'd
New York.
be that it feels like that'd be fitting, you
Yeah,
know? We'll lay
yeah,
you the rest in the hot tub. It'll be like a
yes.
very,
That sounds like a
a
nice
very, very
ceremony.
somber ceremony, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so we went through the New York minute, the Connecticut 15.
yeah.
What the fuck's going on in Oakland? That's what I wanna
Oh
know.
shit. Yeah, Oakland, California. Well, Billy Joe is part owner of the Oakland Bees, I think is the news I saw.
Yes.
You see that? You see that shit?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I sent it to you. I don't know if you saw it before then. Yeah, you might
Oh
have been
no.
sleeping, but
Yeah, I've been like, I've been sleeping all day.
yeah.
Yeah. So Connor, you want to give us a little bit of information on this, on this update?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm realizing I said I sent it to you, and the post is from 4 days. So I did only see it today. It's from 4
Oh,
days ago.
okay.
But I did every time I come across Green Day news, old or otherwise, I'll be like, "Hey, gotta add that to the Green Day chat we got going on."
Yes.
Yeah, so as per the Oakland Ballers Instagram, they say sports in the Bay Area have been transforming over the last couple of years. We've had some emotional goodbyes to teams we grew up with. Obviously, referencing the Oakland A's, that was a really sore spot. We discussed that not too long ago because they're going to
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yep.
But recently, there's been a major shift. The Oakland Ballers and the Oakland roots and soul represent everything I love and grew up in the Bay Area. The welcoming atmosphere, blah blah blah. Billy Joe just says a whole bunch of other shit that doesn't fucking matter. And it's he wants to be a part of, and he wants to support teams that are truly representing where he grew up, the place that he calls home.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like part owner of this Oakland basketball team now.
Yeah, which is pretty rad. Yeah, Billy Joe's always been very passionate about, supporting Oakland, and it feels like over the years he's gotten more and more into local sports, local teams. Which is cool, it's not my bag. I could give a shit, but uh I'm happy for him.
You're
And happy
not
for Oakland.
you're not supporting the Connecticut Nutmeggers?
No, no, I don't think that's a team yet. It will be eventually, though.
Okay. That's
I th-
the team we're gonna support.
yeah, we could. Yeah, we'll buy into that team when they come into fruition. Right now, it's I think I don't fucking know the name, but there's like I think the mascot's a goat or something.
Oh, really?
I think
That's
there's a
cool.
goat mascot. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
cool. I do like that. You know what I think is interesting about this whole deal? Because on their Instagram post, it's like, welcome to the team. And, obviously there's Billy Joe front and center.
Yeah, you're like, is he gonna be the shortstop?
No, well, it's not that, but there's this comment attached to this as well. And it says, Billy Joe becoming owner and the Oakland Ballers just feels right. And then they say, luckily, you can be an owner too. Check out the link in our bio to buy. And I was kind of
Oh, okay.
thinking, what if the Green Dudes were like co-owners with
Wow,
Billy Joe Armstrong?
that would be something. We like have like we like sit on the board with him. We like
Yeah,
about the future of the team and stuff. That's a good idea. I wonder how much you have to put down to be an owner. Like if it's like,
right.
we could do like maybe a few $100.
Right. Yeah. Is it like
You
owning
know?
stock in a company where it's like,
Yeah.
you might be able to buy just a few, or
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, maybe
yeah.
we can use our sizable audience. Maybe we can crowdfund some money for us to be an equal owner with Billy Joe on the Oakland
Oh
Ballers.
my God, Connor. Well, check this
Yeah,
out. Check this
yeah.
out. So I clicked on the thing. It says sports teams have failed their fans for too long. We're introducing
True.
a new playbook. Become a shareholder in the Oakland Ballers and help us pioneer a whole new model of fan-focused sports in the greatest city in the world. The
Wow.
share price is 17 cents a share. So you might be thinking, hey, can I just buy one share for 17? No, you can't. Uh, but get this, the minimum investment is only $510.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Can you can we go halvesies on this?
I mean,
can we do half and half? Can we like kind of split this and we could be co-owners with fucking Billie Joe? Like, you know, like that's
yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I gotta I gotta look at the perks. Like what does that mean when we if we do what does that mean for us?
What does it mean? And honestly, you know, fans, loyal listeners, man, you know, if we could go in together, you know, if there's any support that you could throw out
please.
to the Green Day, you know,
Please.
like, or hey, if you're already a co-owner and you kind of know the process, let us know, because this,
please.
there might be something there. I don't know. There just might be something here. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay, this is something we should update the listeners on.
Yeah, we'll come back to this.
We'll come back to it. The other thing in this press release on the Oakland Ballers website, it says Too Short and Billie Joe Armstrong join ownership group. Who is Too Short? It's a $2 short. It's the S is a $.
Yeah,
Never heard of this guy.
I saw that. I just wasn't even gonna say.
Wait. Hip hop superstar and entrepreneur, Too Short. Okay, all right.
Superstar.
It says superstar. I mean,
because I've never
heard of him. You know, it's like, is he really? How super is his star? If I've never heard of him,
I'll tell you who a hip hop superstar is. Jay-Z.
Right. Yes.
All right.
Jay-Z. Well,
Jay-Z is a hip hop superstar
and also an entrepreneur.
Famously. That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. So who's this Too Short guy?
Yeah, is Too Short trying to eat Jay-Z's nachos?
Yeah. You
ever hear people say that?
Not really. No. Have you heard someone have you recently heard someone say that and you're like, oh, I gotta bust this one out? Like,
no, I think that's like a Gen Z thing. I've seen it on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was like someone that said a few months ago, there's a picture of Gerard Way, and then they retweeted it, and so it's like a picture of Gerard Way performing live at the last MCR show last year. And he said, this guy's trying to eat Mitski's nachos. And this is from like a Mitski fan account, and everyone's like, that's the guy from MCR, and then
right,
she's like, what?
That's Gerard. Yeah.
And I had no idea who that was. So yes, I have tried. I've been looking for a place to fit that phrase in,
and this was as good a place as any. I mean, it was funny. It's great. It's crazy getting older. Those are like the kinds of mundane existential things you have to grapple with on a near daily basis. Like, no one tells you about that. You don't ever think that you're gonna and then eventually one day you're in your early 30s and you're just scrolling through whatever the fuck, and there's just some kid who says Gerard Way is trying to steal Mitski's nachos. And a part of you goes from Connecticut to New York to die, you know?
Oh, yes.
That part is gone forever.
That's exactly it. Yeah. It's quite the trip. And I mean, at a certain point you just give up. You're like, oh, these are just things the young kids say. I'm not going to touch that. That's not for me anymore. This popular culture is not for me anymore.
No.
Anyways, today, folks, we are talking about a Green Day song. It happens to be the second to last song off of Green Day's major label debut album, Dookie. The song is In the End, but it's not the end of the record. It's just called that. It's not actually in the end of the record. It's just the name of the song is In the End.
Yeah, imagine if this was the last song on Dookie, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what was there ever any point where they were like, oh, this song's called In the End, we'll put it at the end, because it just makes sense, you know? And then Rob Cavallo is like, nah, that they're, you know, you got to end it better than that.
Yeah, Rob was like, you know, if you guys make In the End the last song, then you need to fuck off and die.
Yeah,
And
and that yes,
the
Connor.
boys looked at each other and they said, "Wait a minute, that gives me an idea."
Yeah, I think I got an idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Connor, I think we cracked the code there. This is another piece of Green Day lore that we have unlocked. This is
Yeah,
a story that we can pass on and spread,
yes.
across the internet until it just becomes the common knowledge.
Yeah,
You
people are
know?
just gonna be share I know, I can't wait. It would be funny though if they did consider. I do think that there's something to it because obviously it's not the last song, and I
Yeah.
don't think it was. It just feels like it wasn't in contention. I don't know.
No, it's not. It
Um,
doesn't have last song energy.
but obviously it does come at the end of the record. I think having it be like the penultimate song of the track list, it does kind of feel like it's supposed to be the setup for the
Yeah.
finale, and I do think it works
Yeah.
really well in that way. It's kind of like I don't maybe it's like the Doors' first album ends with that. Their last song on the self-titled album is just called "The End," I think, and
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I don't
It's a
know.
famous song.
It's yeah. So I'm not saying that Billy was like trying to have like a cheeky kind of response or whatever, but
Or you could
it
do the
feels like there's
opposite.
something, right?
We could do the opposite and do like MCR with the Black Parade where the first song is called The End.
Yes.
The end is at the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's true. And that
So
really feels like kind of a nacho stealing sort of move.
it's a nacho stealing. Yeah, they're like stealing the Doors nachos,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. MCR was trying to steal the Doors nachos. Exactly. That's what I
That's
was
fucked
trying to
up.
say.
Yeah, so but then like imagine having In the End as the first song.
Yeah.
That could kind of work better than the last song. It feels like more of a first song than last song. But the issue with having them any with having it in any of those positions is that, well, of course, people listening at home, they're saying, well, Burnout is a perfect opener.
Hmm.
So we can't do that. And then if we put it to the last song on the record, FOD is the perfect closer. What are you
Right.
gonna like? There's it couldn't take either spot, in my opinion.
No, which is why it is where it is. Makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
I think it makes perfect
Um,
sense.
yeah.
Um, Connor, so this song, always once again, it's buried at the end of Dookie. Before the exciting finale, the explosive final track. I think maybe the song gets lost in the mix a little bit, maybe a little bit less than the prior couple songs, but yeah, give me a rundown of your feelings on this. If you can tap into that memory well,
Mhm.
from when you first discovered this. Um, yeah.
Well, believe it or not, Connor, I can tap back into my other memory back in time. And I definitely I would say that this was a song that was overlooked by me. And you were like, "Oh, maybe not as much as the previous tracks." That's going to vary listener to listener, of course. The thing is like with the previous song, Amenius Sleepus, back in the day, way back in the day, I would have said E minus Sleepus, which is just a
True.
fun little stupid fact about me. Um, but like that was a song that I felt like I latched onto more, as I was saying. And like this song here, I kind of felt like was the sort of the filler, it felt like, that I didn't care about between that and the last song. And yeah, I really didn't like have any historical appreciation for this song. And it didn't even really give me a lot. Like sometimes I say, songs from Green Day, even ones that I might not have been attached to as much, like lyrically or thematically, it's like it might just be the sound or the energy or however you want to describe it. And you would think that this song kind of has that in spades, right? Like it's sort of a defining feature of the song, it feels like. But um I kind of always I felt like this song was like very sort of like muddy and unintelligible to me back then in my youth, when at 12 or 13, like listening to this, it kind of felt like it was all just a bit of a mess. And, you know, a lot of that was because I really didn't know what Billy was saying in the verses for like a long time. And like, you know, the chorus is pretty clear. So you can kind of tell what the song is about. But it kind of always felt like I was like waiting for the song to be done because I didn't do any work to get to know it better. And like it never like exposed itself to me like naturally, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a moment where it just clicked and I was like, oh yeah, I get in the end, until I was much older. So that was kind of my initial experience with it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think this one is tough because the song's fast and Billy Joe sings pretty fast too, especially with the verses. Um, but that's kind of what drew me in. I think at first, like it made me want to look up the lyrics. So I do remember intentionally doing that pretty early on, and then I've talked about this a million times. When I was a kid, when I was 11, 12 years old, a big part of me lived in fantasy land of, oh, what's going to happen in my future. And so this is a good song to help fantasize with about when I'm in this position of this the story this song tells, with in a personal relationship with somebody. And so I do have that memory that's one of the songs that helped me like just make up crazy stories about how my life was going to go. um and but I mean, other than that, it was, yeah, it kind of it's kind of just like, oh, I'm waiting for FOD, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for FOD. And like a lot of these songs, that did change for me as time went on. And so I mean, let's go back to you, Connor, for you and your grown age of 63 now, 63 and a half now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course. And I just want to know, has the song changed for you? Have your feelings on the song changed at all? Any insight into it now that you didn't have when you were a wee lad, a wee tot?
Yeah, it's like yes and no, because um I definitely like the song more than I did when I first listened to it. And I definitely feel like I understand it more, and um I mostly knew the lyrics. We'll get to that as we always do, because that's just part of our structure here on the show. But I did come to mostly parse it out. Um, Although some of that was very recent, and but I guess I feel like in the end, if you don't mind me borrowing the phrase, in the end, even though my appreciation for the song has grown, it's not like that kind of 180 that we sometimes find, or like with other songs we discuss them and like, oh yeah, man, like I've only grown to love this song more. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is, over the years I have liked the song more, but unlike a lot of other songs that we've discussed, I kind of feel like my enjoyment of this song has plateaued instead of continuing to grow. And that does make it a little bit of an oddity, I feel like, in Green Day songs. Because a lot of times over the years, you listen, you worry, and it's like, you just kind of naturally grow a bond with the song. And, as you go back to it, you're like, man. But this still sort of feels like the outlier to me when I go through Dookie, where it's like, I get it more. I wouldn't want it to go anywhere, because we were already discussing where it is in the track list. I think it's perfect. Like track list wise, album flow wise, I do think it serves an important purpose. And I do think that it's very functional in that way. But I sort of feel like the song's just fine. I guess. And that's like that's still kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. I feel the same way. I don't know. I feel like as the years have gone on, and I have like lost the ability to like fantasize about my future. Just doesn't happen anymore,
Right. Now we're
Um,
dreading it.
now we yeah, now I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about the hell that is to come. But no, I've grown to appreciate this song more like structurally and compositionally, I think. Because it does, we'll get into it. It does do unique things for Green Day, and it's like a fun little spot on the record or in their discography. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy it's on Dookie, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. But like, I don't know. This may be the song like that. If it wasn't on the record, like I wouldn't really miss it too much.
Hmm.
I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
It
that's
sounds like
hard to
we're kind of in
say.
agreement, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, no, I think we are. That's hard to say. It's like I don't want to say that, but I don't mean it in a like I still love this song. I love every single Green Day song. That's just reality for me. So, but if this was like relegated to B-side status, like that wouldn't I don't think that would be a shame.
Hmm.
But there's not even any point in having that conversation because it's so short. It's like why not just put it on the record? It's
Yeah.
like we might as well put it on the fucking record. So and it makes the end, it makes the end of like the nice like three songs, like three super short song run towards the end of the record, which I like a lot too.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, going into this record, this song, a little bit more in depth. I don't know. I think we can start with the drums today, maybe,
Yeah.
because the song itself starts with the drums. It starts with Trey Cool, slapping those sticks together.
Yeah.
Little three, three.
He's
One,
doing a
two, three.
countdown. Yeah.
Yep, he's counted in with his drumsticks. Which is this the first time that happens on a Green Day song?
I I think it is. I
I
do
think so
think it
too.
is.
Yeah.
Because I think we would have pointed that out earlier. And
Yeah.
our memories are not always the best,
No.
but it's very distinct in this song. I do think it's the first time it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least with Trey, I think. Like, I feel like I
Right.
like
We don't get that on Kerplunk, right? Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, it might happen on the Who cover, but I don't know. My
Yeah.
generation.
Right.
I'm not. I'm not.
That's a good shout out. Could be right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You people can correct me if I am mistaken, but yeah, and then he jumps in with the snare hit, and then we are off to the races. This is a very cool drum track. Connor, what are your thoughts on Trey's performance here?
It is a cool drum track. Yes, I like the way it starts, and we kind of talked about that last episode because it felt like the abrupt ending of A Many Sleepless into the count in for in the end. It's like that's a great back to back. So they're working really well together there. Obviously, it's like the drums in this song they feel like very straightforward to me because Trey's just kind of like ripping through the verses and then, just like carrying all that through the chorus. Obviously it's very fast. So, like he's kind of charged with setting the pace and like keeping it all in line. And then I guess the obvious shout out is the bridge or the instrumental break as the Genius lyrics. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because there's not any vocals there. So yeah, the instrumental break. And I do really like Trey's transition into that and out of it, where because he's like playing hard and fast elsewhere throughout the song, and then things have to take this turn, which is probably what you're alluding to a little bit in like, the structure of the song. And yeah, it's it does kind of remind me of like other tracks we've discussed. Like I do think that this is a bit of a take on um something that they try elsewhere, where it's kind of like the 3/4 of the way through breakdown, like when we were talking about Welcome to Paradise, or even the Many a Sleepless, when we were, it's like there's kind of this moment in the song where things sort of fall away, and then Trey's drumming is kind of creating this like different like lower register sort of foundation here before it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then it all explodes back in. So it's not to say that it's like derivative or anything. I think it is like still just as singular on this track. It doesn't feel like it's played out or whatever, but at the same time, it's kind of like, we keep discussing Green Day songs over and over again, and it feels like you kind of get an eye or an ear or a recognition of like, hey, this is like sort of that toolbox they're returning to a little bit, and I feel like they dip into that a bit here too, even though it's different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like the theme of Dookie almost. There's a lot of that on Dookie, and then I mean, obviously elsewhere in their discography, but not to this extent, I don't think. And yeah, I think this is unique enough to stand on its own, like that bridge or instrumental break. It's like Trey is doing like this cool kind of shuffle beat thing with the snare and stuff, and very very fun. Specifically, it was really awesome live. It was just, they really kind of drew it out, and um made it a cool moment in the Dookie set. So that was rad. It made me appreciate the drumming and the song itself more. um but yeah, I mean, it's another strong Trey track. It's he is not doing anything super out of the box for him, but I mean, again, playing to the song. And I mean, not out of the box for Trey is like still incredible. It's still like really masterful drum work. So yeah, I I think we can move on to the bass guitar here, Connor. What are your thoughts on Mike's outing here? Myself, I think this is a song um where, I think maybe he is kind of relegated to the background a little bit. There's some cool stuff that he does, but it's not a bass track.
Yeah, I do think that that's true for most of it. It's like throughout the verse and the choruses, like you can hear what Mike's playing, but it sounds like it's mostly following the guitar. Um I think where it stands out a bit more was like like directly following the chorus, and just before it goes back into the verse, like I don't know, it just feels like Mike just like plays louder. I think that's all it is, but like you can really hear kind of like the rattle of the strings. Like it's like much more present like immediately after the chorus. I don't know. I do like that, because like, Billy's playing is very aggressive, and it feels like Mike's bass kind of lends this it's he's keeping up, but it gives it like this different sort of texture that I think doesn't make it feel like you're just getting the same thing over and over again. So I don't know. I really like Mike's bass there. The boom 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 boom. Like, you could just hear it. Like it's really low. It sounds great. Um, and then yeah, in the bridge, or I keep saying in the bridge. I'm just used to using that word, I guess. But in the instrumental break, um, I don't know. He's more uh integral to kind of like laying that soundscape there a little bit, you kind of just get this repeated like dun 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 dun, and it's nothing like complicated, but I think it is like doing what it needs to do, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely not the anything like the buildup that you would get on Welcome to Paradise, where Mike is like the exact front runner to like creating that. It's like, it's much more sparse, but like it's present and it's clear and it sounds good. So I think it's all right.
Yeah. I actually listening to this today, which by today I mean after waking up at 5:45
Right.
in the evening, and just immediately because pretty much before I went to sleep in the morning, I texted Connor, hey, 6 o'clock, when we record at 6 o'clock. Then I wake up at 5:45 and I'm like, maybe 6:15. So this is very impressive for me. I am, because like usually I wake up, I take it very slowly. I drink 2 cups of coffee, listen to an album or two, and then whatever I have to do, then I will start what I have to do.
That's true.
Yeah. So today it was different. I jumped right onto the computer. I was like, I gotta listen to this song 10 times and look at the comments. Look, I gotta go and check out what the internet's saying about this. So I jumped to it right away. But this was the first time I ever noticed the bass playing in the bridge. I think it's okay. I think it's fine to call it a bridge.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
The bridge of this song, it is like kind of pushed to the background, and it is like simple for Mike, but I like it a lot. It was like my first time really hearing it. So I really appreciated that. And he does like a little twang coming out of the bridge too that I really enjoy. So it's like kind of like funny. Like I feel like every song we say like, oh, this is not like a Mike song. He's following the guitar or whatever. He always does like a little something to show us what's what. He always pulls a little dirt out of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think that's completely true. Yeah, for sure. It's like it's tough. I always worry if like someone's jumping onto our discussions with like our most recent episode or whatever, because with us, we kind of have a shorthand. Like we're aware of how we feel about all the
yes,
band members
yeah,
and their style. But like sometimes if it we might describe something and it might come off as kind of dismissive. And yeah, like it's never like that simple or that reductive, because
no,
yeah, I do think that Mike's playing is good here. It's just like, yeah, it's not like a standout track, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything going on under the hood that
absolutely,
that a perceptive listener can't pick out, for sure.
absolutely. After 20 years of listening to this song, finally hearing the bass in the bridge for the first time. See, I mean, you can still discover things after all this time. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty remarkable. And I mean, it's probably even closer to the truth if I said like, oh, I probably did discover this at a certain, maybe like 10 years ago, then forgot about it, and then I'm rediscovering it. That's probably closer to the truth.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Mike keeps miking, and we are here for it. No, he's not gonna let anyone eat his nachos.
That's
That's for sure.
right.
That's for
No,
sure.
no.
No way. All right. This brings us to the main man, the man of the hour, Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong on the guitar.
Yes.
Uh, yes. I think I don't know. He does some cool things here too. It's not. It's just like it's kind of a fun. Well, it's a fun, fast guitar song, and then
Mhm.
again going into the bridge, he does some cool like not topsy turvy, but kind of like a little bit left field guitar playing, which I like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I kind of like, for me, I sort of feel like his playing on the verse and the chorus, it is good, but it's one of those songs that like in my mind just kind of feels like a fun, like a fast punk song, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's not something that they are like, you know, typically leaning on. And I don't think that you should change in the end. I just don't think that that's like as interesting as I guess like I don't again like want to be like, oh, so reductive or whatever, but like, you know, there's songs that are kind of more geared to like a pop rock you know, sort or kind of tune, or even like power pop. Like I think that Billy's guitar playing is typically more interesting in that vein
Yeah.
than
Hmm.
like this in the end kind of makes me think of something like I Want to Be on TV, or even like kind of dialed back Take Back or something, you know, where it's just
Sure. Yeah.
the guitar is kind of just meant to be, you know, crushing and convey this sense of like anger or frustration. And I think that works, you know, just fine for in the end. I just don't feel like that's not really as compelling for me most of the time. And so yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, this is kind of in the fast punk mold for Green Day. And yeah, I mean, I'm more of a power pop guy, or even in alt rock guy when it comes to Green Day songs. But like I'll say it like, you know, give me as many of these fucking songs as you have. Like, I'll take them all and I'll fucking enjoy them. You know, like it's not a, this is not a blight on the record at all. But you're absolutely right
No.
that like, you know, it's a certain part of Green Day's wheelhouse that you know, I mean, doesn't do as much for me as what they do elsewhere. Um, but it's still, I'm still happy we have it. You know, that's just, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way about uh parts of Green Day that I love, like the
Mhm.
trilogy or whatever, you know. So it's a matter of taste, really, you know.
Yeah.
Um
And
and
there's
yes,
no
I'm
accounting
fucking,
for taste.
there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah.
And you know, I am saying that I like the trilogy better than In the End. Sorry, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
I
as
mean,
not not
yeah.
just as a whole, I'm not saying every song, but that might be true too. I don't know. Anyways, that's a conversation for another day. Um,
It
but
is.
yes,
It's going to be a very hot topic of
yes,
discussion
I know.
when we get
In
to
a
that.
couple
But
in a couple years time when we get to the
yeah.
trilogy. But yeah, yeah. I mean, anything else you want before we move on to lyrics and vocals?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do like talking about the bridge and Billy's playing, you know, it is pretty much kind of like, hey, he's just gonna have some shit ringing out while Mike and Trey are kind of doing the legwork
Yeah,
to keep it all together and to do that build up. You know, Billy's pretty much just like, you know, just having a power chord or whatever ring out, and that's cool.
well,
Like I like what's
there's
happening.
two there's, you know, there's two guitars here, you know, so that's why it sounds, maybe that's why they didn't play it just the three of
Yeah, like
them.
the dun 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 dun
Dun
dun
dun
dun
dun.
dun
Yes,
dun 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 dun
exactly.
dun dun dun
Which
dun dun. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I like a lot. I like that a lot. And that's happening while he is also ringing out, you know, power chords or whatever. And now with the magic of having three guitar players live, you can do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the technology back then, so
No, they just
that's just
couldn't
it.
do it.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, and really it's like for me, it's so much about like what Billy's playing or what but it's like it's kind of a dynamics thing, I think, where it's like I think that yeah, mostly it feels all kind of straightforward to me, but like because the guitar is so kind of in your face and meant to be so crushing throughout the verse, throughout the chorus, like the relative like sparseness of it. Um, I, I I think it works well when you get back into that last chorus, and it feels like it's a uh, I don't know, I guess like a bit of a right hook, a musical
Yeah.
jab, where it's just like,
Yeah.
you know it's coming. Obviously that's what they're building back up to, but it
Totally.
doesn't mean it don't work. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. I think that's the story for most of the song. All right, Connor, you want to help us? You want to sing us into the next segment?
yeah, let's do it. It goes a little something like this. Just tell me the words I
Words
might
I
have
might have
known. The
known,
words
the
I might
words
have
I might have
known. The
known,
words I
the
might have
words I might have
known.
known. All right, Mr. Kelly. This song. Are there any lyrics that you had any questions about, or anything, any mistaken lyrics here for In the End?
Yes. As I was pretty clear about before, when I was younger, it felt like I had no clue what Billy was saying. And it's kind of funny because when you actually look at the song, it is so simple. Because it's basically just repeating the chorus over and over, and then there's two verses that are really, really fast.
Yeah.
So it's like just listening to it without looking up the lyrics, it's hard to figure out what the verses are. But if you look it up, it's easy to remember because it's just like two fucking sentences. Like it's barely
Yeah.
anything. What's kind of interesting is as we have been discussing Dookie, that's as we've talked about in the podcast, whatever album we're discussing, for me kind of tends to be the Green Day album that's in my rotation. So I've been listening to Dookie a lot, and within the past couple of weeks, I've been listening to the Dookie 30th anniversary edition, which I didn't really listen to when it came out. And there were some tracks that you had showed me. I remember when it came out, you were like, "Oh, check out this demo, listen to this." And as we've gone through some songs like Basket Case, we've listened to and talked about some of the demos.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hadn't really checked it out independently until, again, as of like the last handful of weeks here. And there is a demo or like a 4-track or something of this song, where like the clarity of Billy's singing is just way more easy to parse. And
Yeah.
so the second verse, which has long been a mystery for me, I was just able to figure it out without looking up the lyrics. I could just hear it. So
You figured out what it's all about.
Exactly. I figured out what it's all about. Exactly. So and it's a great verse. That was cool. The first verse was still not something I figured out all the way. And you can there were things I was able to grab onto. But anyways, that first line, all bronze and no brains. No clue. Had no idea. All brawn and no brains and all those things. The really where I came in was where he says, "You finally got what you want, someone to look good with, and let you say, like that." But like the first verse was kind of like I just had like these bits and pieces, and looking at it now, it's so simple to just plug in what I didn't know, like a Mad Lib or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. But short answer, the first verse has long been a mystery to me. And only just now looking at it, I'm going, oh, second verse, I would have said the same thing, but the demo really helped me out. So that was cool. And the choruses are very obvious. So that was my story with learning the lyrics.
Nice. Yeah. I think the first verse especially it's hard to parse because I do, again, I specifically remember looking up the lyrics in the booklet, just like being like, wait, what is he saying there? And so like training myself to remember all brawn and no brains back in the day. So that's just like one of the fun things you can do with Billy Joe's vocal stylings. And to your point about that 4-track demo that I haven't listened to in a while, but I believe you that maybe it's the vocals are clearer. Is that because of Billy Joe's like enunciation, or is it because of the mix?
I would say it's a bit of both. Like
Okay.
it's definitely the mix because since it doesn't have the full production, his vocals are like I guess just like way more prevalent. Like
Yeah.
it feels like they're kind of louder and above everything else, and it's just not like mixed evenly in a way. Um, yeah, I would say it has more to do with the mix, really. That just makes it kind of hit
Yeah.
more obviously.
Because right before we started recording, I listened to a bit, and I don't know why. This is like self harm, honestly, at this point to me. I listened to a bit of In the End, mixed in the style of Kerplunk.
It's really funny. Yeah.
I don't know why I do this, but um, I like the one thing they did was like they just brought the vocals up. You know, they brought the vocals up, the guitars down, made the drums sound tinny like Kerplunk. Like I don't know. But so it kind of surprised me because I mean I don't really feel like the vocals are too muddy on Dookie or too, but I think this song specifically, the combination of that and how fast Billy sings in the verses maybe is why some people have trouble with it. And the other thing was in that YouTube mix that I listened to, they turned up the harmonies in the chorus, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice actually.
Mm,
So that's something to think about. Um, yeah. So I, for the lyrics here, Connor, we'll get into them. I just want to get into what Genius says about the song here quickly.
yeah.
Um, they say in the end was written from Billy's point of view as he saw his mother date other men after his father's death. He said in an interview, that song is about my mother's husband. It's not really about a girl or like anyone directly related to me in a relationship. In the end, is about my mother. So, really, the song is related to Why Do You Want Him? It's kind of like Why Do You Want Him Part Two.
Yeah. And just like Why Do You Want Him, I have always historically just assumed that that song and in the end, was about Billy's own relationship
Yeah,
troubles
yeah.
because he writes a lot about that. So it's usually a safe assumption, but
Usually.
yeah, but it is interesting that when he's writing about someone else, like quote unquote, um, it's still like the way that he kind of tackles it. It still kind of feels like it could be coming from his perspective, and I think vice versa too, because
Yeah.
we talk a lot about this as well, where there's this weird crossroads between like how much of Billy's songs are truly autobiographical and how much of it is Billy kind of filtering his personal experience through the perspective of a character. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes that's literal. And I think sometimes it's like so invisible that as Green Day fans, we just go, oh yeah, well, Billy's the songwriter, so the song's about Billy. And
Sure.
yet, like, I I, I think you kind of always got to take it with a grain of salt and just ask yourself, like, is it? Or how much of it is?
Yeah,
Like what
definitely.
is the truth or the boundary between those things?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not a given. I mean, it really isn't. Most of these songs are autobiographical, but even in the most autobiographical songs, I feel like there is an element of like I feel like it's always a mixture. It can always be yourself or Billy Joe and people he knows. Like songs are kind of like that. They don't have to be so rigid in their meaning. So when he clarifies, that's really nice, but you're kind of also like, well, is it actually about your mom entirely,
Mhm.
or maybe there's a little bit of you in your relationships in there too. um it's like an unreliable narrator kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm somebody who I wouldn't take the artist's word as gospel all the time either.
Mhm.
I think that's your mileage may vary. Yeah, so that's interesting that Bill, I mean, it's kind of funny, like, because Billy Joe, I feel, obviously he was still young during Dookie. He was very, very young still, but like, Why Do You Want Him is like the first song he had ever written. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy that he still hates this guy. If it's the same, that could be a different guy.
Yeah.
It's like that's like almost a decade or something of like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I
That's
wonder if he
that
ever got over it because as far as I know, there's no other songs written about his mother's romantic partners since then.
yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's funny to think about. I guess it's like
Oh, and by the way,
when yeah.
I just want to say it was his mother Ollie's 95th birthday, I think last week. So happy birthday to Ollie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I did see that. That's really special. I wasn't didn't Billy mention something about that? He was playing somewhere and he was like, "Oh, she bought
Yes.
me this guitar." Like he had Blue and he was like, "She bought me this
Yes.
guitar," and was talking
Yeah.
about it.
He said, yeah, he said she bought me this guitar, and he's like, it all worked out, mom.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. Yes.
it was a very, very cute moment.
Yeah, yeah. That's very sweet. Yeah, happy birthday. Wow. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Um I guess the other question that we don't have the answer to, unless you do, is like when was in the end written? Because there's always
True.
the possibility that it was, it could be older than this batch of songs, or like when Dookie came.
Totally.
You kind of always assume that these things happen in the eras
Uh-huh.
in which they do, but sometimes things have a way of circling back around. So I'd be
Oh yeah.
curious
I
about that
mean,
too.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll never know. What do you
And quite
think about
frankly, I don't care.
yeah, it's okay to leave it up to mystery. Uh what do you think about Billy's vocal performance here? I think this is another good example of like there's a snottiness here, there's a kind of an irreverence here that is very Dookie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know, Billy singing here is one of the best things on the track in my mind.
Yeah,
Because I do like that this is like an opportunity for him to kind of um I don't feel like this is a song where he's like showing off, but he is like showing a different side of his singing that you don't really get
yeah.
elsewhere on Dookie. Where it's like, yeah, I can do like the fast punk rock kind of thing too. Like I don't think he's trying to prove anything here. I don't think that this is a bone that they're throwing to anyone. But I do think that like this is kind of representative of yeah, I guess a more a more aggressive punk rock kind of song that Billy just kind of takes in stride and makes it all his own. So um, I really like how fast and kind of loose and effortless he makes it all sounds like throughout the verses. It's to me, it's sort of like one weird, garbled kind of continuous line, and then in the chorus there's a bit more clarity to it, and I love the extended like holding of the "so I hope like
Yes, yeah.
that's a fantastic moment. All of the rest of the instruments cut out, and it's just like that isolated lyric that Billy's singing there, and that I don't know, that really gives it a good emphasis when it makes it feel like a bit of a sing along there, when
Oh,
I feel like
absolutely. Yes.
everyone can come in on that line, no matter how lost
Yeah,
you are in the song.
definitely.
Everyone can join in there, so
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
And it did work that way live too. That was a very fun part to sing along to.
Yes.
Um, Before we move on to that, any of these lyrics you wanted to specifically pinpoint, talk about? It's a pretty fun and simple song. I don't think there's really too much to for me to get into.
Yeah, I agree. I uh I guess it's the second verse I found that I've liked the most. I really like the whole like how long will he last before he's a creep in the past. That's just a really
Yeah,
fun rhyme, and then
it is.
Something about like the quick like one syllable words and will you pop up again, and like that's
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like what is it, like the cadence or whatever in that second
Uh-huh.
verse is like really it's satisfying to like sing along to. So it's cool that I can now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a fun song, and I mean, the lyrics, like part of why I feel like maybe this has more to do with Billy than he lets on is like it feels like it's could also be about the same guy from Chump. It could be about the Chump.
Yes. Yeah,
There's some lineage there as well. So
I agree. And the other thing we've kind of been talking about is that there's sort of like this it feels like there's like more thematic connection with like the ending of this album, that
yeah,
like the more we talk about it song by song, kind of going off of She, where it's like, oh well, this this kind of fucking slacker loser is kind of maybe inspired or self actualizes a little bit to take a bit more control or direction of their lives. And this song feels like it's right in line with Amenius Sleepus or FOD, where it's like, if this person comes back, if you're trying to come back into my life after the way that you've treated me or you've displayed these things, then I reject you. I don't want that. Like, here's
yeah,
my
yep,
boundary, here's my line in the sands.
definitely.
And because of the way that you've acted, like, fool me twice, I ain't gonna get fooled again. So
So this actually is the first song Billy Joe wrote about George W. Bush.
yes, yeah, way back when.
That's what we're saying.
I don't know.
Back when he was arrested for drunk driving.
That's exactly it. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense when you lay it all
Yeah,
out there like that.
yeah,
So I don't know. It's like, looking at the lyrics themselves here. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about In the End individually,
yeah,
but I do like where it is on because it feels like it's part of this like this selection of songs at the end of Dookie, where they're kind of all like pointing in the same direction. Like, it would be weird if In the End was a song about just being a fucking loser or a fucking idiot, and they would be like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't fit with what we were talking about over here. You know what I mean? But I feel like these like closing tracks on the record are kind of all working in tandem to kind of create this feeling or have this this kind of consistent, like, coherent sort of idea. And it's not like the whole like, I'm not saying that this is like the rock opera, oh, the character realizes this, but I'm talking about
yeah.
like just the core message of these songs. They're like in line with one another, and I think it's cool that In the End contributes that. That's what
Yeah.
I
No,
feel about.
definitely. Absolutely. I mean, it's I this discussion, or our discussions on Dookie have really I guess deepened my appreciation for the connection between the songs and the cohesion and the story of the full record. So this song is no exception. Yeah, and I really appreciate getting more into that. All right, Connor, you're gonna help me out with this next song.
I'm ready, man. Let's
All
do it.
right, goes a little something like this. A warning, live without warning.
Have we heard this song? Have we heard this song?
Connor, what do you think? Before this previous summer, when we heard all of Dookie live twice, have we heard In the End live at any of the shows we've been to?
I'm sure I sound like a broken record because I'm always like, oh, well, I haven't heard it, but hey, maybe you heard it at that one Rough Trade show. And I know that you've read the fucking set list that you had at that Rough Trade show.
Yeah.
So if I remembered it, then I could be like, oh, is this what? But the thing is I don't remember. I
That's okay.
immediately I have fucking goldfish memory.
Yeah.
So and what I think is I definitely had not heard it prior to the Saviors tour, and although I think it's possible that you have, I'm going to say that you also had not heard it prior to the Saviors tour.
Connor, you are absolutely correct. I had not heard the song prior to the Saviors tour. This is, again, one of the songs that is maybe even overlooked by the band themselves. It's not a song they typically pull out. I don't know before they ever did Dookie in full. I don't know like if they had I don't think it was even a staple in the 90s. I don't know if they played it regularly ever. That's maybe before Dookie was released when it was like being promoted or something. I don't know. But yeah, so first time for both of us. And again, I will say it was a very very fun live song. Billy Joe goes without guitar running around the stage. They lengthen that breakdown bridge part. It was just fun as hell. It was a really
Yes.
really fun, really fun live song. So again, boys, if you're listening, whip it out whenever you so choose. All right, whip it on out. All right, Connor, you ready to hear from the yellow underbelly of the worldwide interweb?
I'm as ready and as not ready as I always am coming to this segment. So let's hear it, buddy.
All right, let's go ahead and hear from the anti-social media.
We are.
All right. First up, we have Legend of Apples from 12 years ago. Legend of Apples says, LOL, it sounds just like Jaded, but who cares? Connor, do you think it sounds just like Jaded, or is it just a fast punk song?
I don't think it sounds just like Jaded, but I do think that, like, I could just like how before I was like, oh, this is kind of shares, some feeling with I Want to Be on TV or Take Back. I wouldn't be talking to someone and be like, dude, In the End sounds just like Take Back. I wouldn't say that because that's wrong. But I can see where this commenter is coming from. I would put Jaded within that group of songs, even though it's distinct on its own.
I agree, but I don't think it's like something that they're like, oh, this sounds just like Jaded. Like I don't think it's not like the same chord progression or the same melody. I don't think it's similar enough to say that, but that's just me. Next up we have this is a weird one.
Great.
This is Larissa Laramie 9222 from 1 month ago.
Okay.
California. And then we get into a conversation between L and M. Starting off with L. Serious relationship. Anyone past the mirage in the California desert is a bull in a china shop. M. Okay, thanks. L. You listen to the song and don't get the benefit of the show. L. Say in Russian. M. Is that from KOST? M. Okay. Boy, how Mom and I used to love songs on the KOST with Karen Sharp. L. Thank you for the mozzarella sticks last night. I got mozzarella sticks. A large order. It was so cold. It's just like that today. Also in the day and night and for the rest of the week. Whoa, 24/7 in that is maniacal. I'm so sad. I'm just focusing on my Green Day article about the broadcast zone. I know the truth. Walk the walk.
Wow, I was really trying to make heads or tails of that, and it is tough. It is tough just hearing it. KOST broad, like, is that the letters for like a radio station
It could be, or a
in the
soundtrack of
area,
something.
or yeah,
Something's original soundtrack.
but like this, whatever is like happening here, really the craziest thing to me is not even like the content of it. It's not even what's actually written there. It's the fact that you would comment that on a YouTube comment section.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if that was
know.
on someone notes app or whatever, I'd be like, okay, that's your own thing. But
that's
for
fine.
some reason, they are compelled to just like, no, the world needs to see this.
Yeah.
This has to be shared. What is it?
I mean, do they think it is comprehensible to other people?
Right.
They must, or why would they post it? Like, I mean, and it's not. This is not just an isolated thing. These kinds of comment. This is a kind of comment. Like this is this is a genre of comments that we get regularly.
Yes, it is. And in fact, we've been missing a particular commenter for a while
we
now.
have. I know.
From back in the 39 Smooth and Kerplunk days.
I know. And I got a little bit of nostalgia for her reading this. And I still hope that she makes a comeback. That's Anna Marie something or other. So hopefully we see the return of her soon. But yeah, I mean, there's something in these people's brains that just urges them to share these anecdotes with the world.
And I think that there's something about YouTube as a platform specifically that draws them like moths to a flame. Like it's not that you cannot find comments like this on other, message boards or social media platforms, or like you can, but the concentration of them are much, much higher on YouTube. The likelihood of you coming across a comment like this is so much higher on YouTube that there's got to just be something to it. It feels like it's like a I don't know, like a feedback loop. It's like I don't know, they create each other somehow.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's one of the most fascinating parts of YouTube comments.
We're gonna have to write like an academic paper on it or something.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Absolutely. That might be our next project. Next up we have Yov Steinberg, 1217 from 11 years ago. Yov says, it's annoying that in a lot of their music you can barely hear the words. Then a lol fail replies. They say, it's punk. It's the way he's singing and it's fucking awesome. You should listen to some Bad Religion. That'll annoy you a lot.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. Just showed them lol fail.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of Bad Religion I don't know the words to. I love the album No Control, but can I sing along to it? No, not quite. Not for the most part.
Yov Steinberg replies to this. They say, no, apparently it was my headset. Songs came out blurry. So they're listening to Green Day's entire discography. They're like, why can't I understand the words? It's just like there's a headphone setting that they fucked up on.
Yeah.
Mr. Felipe replies, says, you just got trolled, sir.
Oh my god, it's awful.
It's so bad.
I love that blurry obviously is a visual description, but it just like translates so like I love that line.
I know.
The songs came out blurry. I'm like, I know exactly what this dude means. That's a great comment.
Yeah. It's very, very funny, yeah. And everyone understands what that means, but it's yeah.
And it's a real kind of like a bait and switch, because you would it's like we've been talking a lot about how, hey, on this song it might be hard to figure out the lyrics, the way Billy's singing, the mix, this and that. So I was perfectly ready to accept that they're kind of just listening to this one track and they're extrapolating and say like, hey, this is kind of indicative of a lot of Green Day's discography. Why can't I hear Billy singing? And instead, their headphones just don't fucking work.
I know, which is the funniest outcome.
Allow me to say, Masterful gambit, sir. You just won the internet today.
Oh, you don't have to, Connor. You don't have to do that. You don't have to play their game.
I'm an elder millennial. I don't know. It's like I can't help myself.
Sometimes you just get you just can't help yourself.
Show me a picture of any dog, and I will tell you if it is a doggo or a pupperio.
Oh,
I will.
God. Sometimes the fedora just
it's
flies
always
out, sits upon your head.
It's always you just can't see it, but it's always it's always on.
Invisible fedora. Next up we have Be Happy 3288 from 7 years ago. They said, I thought if you come around was a cucumber round.
I hope I won't be there in the end if cucumber round.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
That's great.
Yeah, it makes me think like I mean, what about When I Come Around? Like do they think when cucumber round? I don't know.
Yes. And that's have you seen this like whole like resurgence, it feels like, or people are coming out of the woodwork? I keep coming across comment now online where people will be like, "Oh, I thought he said I wore cologne."
Yeah.
So
that's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah, but it feels like I've just been seeing more people saying it.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I've been coming across it more and more, it feels like.
Lately. I know, no, I agree. I don't. It's a weird thing, but it's like it's weird because it's it's the opposite of the Blink song. What's My Age Again?
Yeah,
which is I Work Alone.
Right. Instead of right. It's
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going on. The internet is a strange place. I can't even begin to understand why things are happening when they do. But yes, I have seen more of that. Lil Bambino 9180 says 8 years ago, was this recorded in Texas, or why does this sound very similar to the Texas songs?
What the fuck does that mean? Is there a group of it? Like this would really piss me off if this is just like one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, you didn't know that Green Day recorded these songs in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know what the fuck, but I don't know what the fuck this guy is talking about.
No, as far as I know, they haven't recorded any songs in Texas, at least officially released. They did do some demoing in Texas for the trilogy, but that's about it. But I think you'll get more insight into this comment a little bit further in a future comment. Next up, we have Reese D'O'Reilly 1049 says, I used to sing, I figured out you are a bellend. I don't think I like what I see. So he added his own little bit of his little bit of British flair to the song.
Let me try that one out and see how it sounds.
Yeah, please.
I figured out you are a bellend, and I don't think I like what I see. So
I don't know. Kind of improves the song actually.
Yeah. It's not bad.
It's not bad. That could be a soft play song.
You're right. That'd be pretty funny. In a song that I have not shut up about how much in the verses I felt very clueless for almost my entire life listening to this song. It's kind of funny to me that people are like, oh, I just didn't know what he was singing in the chorus. I'm like, because to my ears and my clear headphones, it's like, come on, isn't that the obvious part? Like
that's literally the clearest part of the song as far as vocals go. Yeah, that is pretty funny. I think some people just like don't care about the verse lyrics. They're just like, I'm waiting for the chorus.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up we have I Am in Your Walls 107, creepy, from 7 years ago. They say, is it weird that I can imagine Eric Cartman singing this and it actually sounding good?
Oh my god. Wow. Wait, how long ago was this comment?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Wow.
So not really long ago enough.
No, not long ago, but not because like I've even sent you videos of like this fucking this guy who like just does covers of songs
Yeah.
sounding like Eric Carr. You remember that, right?
I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard to listen to, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I know. Well, Connor, you did give us some examples of like performing
Oh,
these comments for the
yeah.
past two. So would you do us the honor of maybe giving us a little bit of Eric
All right,
Cartman?
let me try.
All right.
I figured out what's around about it. I don't think I like what I see. So I hope I will be there in the end if you come around.
Wow. The
Yeah.
weird thing is, Connor, is that it actually sounds good.
This commenter might have had something going on there. Like that.
You're
Maybe
actually right.
you know what I
I'm
want
in
to
your
hear?
walls.
I want to hear in the end if it were on Kerplunk sung by Eric Cartman. That's what it feels
Oh
like to me.
yeah. That internet, do your thing.
Oh my god. This is
We've gone too far.
yeah. We are through the looking glass here, people.
We are. All right. So this one might give you some more insight into the Texas comment. This is from Dare Ramsteiner Jung 4122 from 5 years ago. They say this sounded so similar to a Western song or a country song. I imagine a flashback of me dancing around a circle inside of a farm wearing a cowboy outfit and everything mentioned with song playing over and over again. I know. I should go to sleep today.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. I hope they did.
Get some rest. The only thing, I mean, the bridge kind of is. I can see how they say like Western-ish for the bridge a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess if any part of this song is going to sound that way, it has to be that. But
yeah,
it still really leaves me scratching my head. It does not give me like listening to that comment. I'm not like, oh, now I get the Texas thing. I'm just like still confused that two people have independently thought this. Like,
I know.
Because it made when we were talking about pulling teeth, like it felt like okay, like you can make an argument that that's part of it, right? That's kind of, but why in the end? I just don't hear it. I don't know.
Next up we have Cleo Kraus, and this is another conversation between them and a friend. Me, have you heard In the End, Friend, by Linkin Park? Me, no, by Green Day. Friend, oh no, I hate Green Day. Me, bye.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I like the skit comments. That's fun.
Very creative.
I don't know. I probably saw this on Twitter when I was on the Green Dudes account. Because we follow Green Day accounts, and I did actually see this meme not too long ago. You know that meme? I think it's from what is it, like 500 Days of Summer with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, and it's like, oh, and the meme format is like, I love blank, and then the other person says, I do too, and then you see what they're both talking about. Well, I really did see a meme in that format, and it was like, I love In the End, and they're like, me too, and then it has like a screenshot of each album.
Yeah, I think
so. I don't know.
I will admit though, today when I texted you this morning, I was like, "Oh, Green Dudes tonight." You're like, "In the End," and then I was gonna text you. It doesn't even matter. I was gonna text that back, but then I fell asleep.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I guess it didn't matter. So
in the end, it didn't even matter. It never does. It never does. I got two left here. We have, let's see. All right, this is another comment from Lil Bambino 9180 from 8 years ago. They say, why does it sound and seem so similar to a Western song? Whenever I listen to this song, I always feel the Western spirit running through my veins and heart. Who thinks the same?
Did anyone comment? Like,
No, there's no comments on this.
what the hell? Is this person from I don't know. Like, I'm just
they might be from Texas.
the Western spirit. They're having like these visions from a past life. They're a cowboy in a barn dancing around a fire pit. Like, I don't I don't
that could
know.
be it. They could have been uh who's a cowboy? What's the famous cowboy's name?
Billy the Kid.
They could have been Billy the Kid in the past life.
Billy Joe Armstrong the Kid.
Billy Joe Armstrong the Kid. There we go. So anyways, this is the final comment here. This is from Amir Jacob 7829 from 5 months ago. They say, "Old Hobbit never dies. Green Day for life. Cheers."
Okay.
I just thought it was funny because they said "Old Hobbit never dies" instead of "Old Habit never dies."
Yeah.
Which I think is a typo, but I just thought it was funny.
I still wouldn't understand if it was Old Habit never dies. What are they talking about? Like,
well, no, I mean, I guess I'm assuming
Green Day. Like,
I think they mean listening to Green Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Old Hobbit never died. I mean, because Connor, you and I have read Lord of the Rings.
Yes, we have.
We've read Lord of the Rings. We talked about it chapter by chapter on our other podcast, Chapter Chums.
Yes, check it out.
And I don't know. I think there's kind of an argument to be made that the oldest Hobbit of all time, Bilbo Baggins,
yeah,
does he die at the end of that book?
Yeah, the jury is out on that one. He's, as far as I'm aware, he's just hanging out, enjoying life at the Grey Havens.
Yeah, just he sailed away, so it's like,
yeah.
I like I think this is maybe a really compelling literary thing to consider too.
Yes,
Old Hobbit never dies.
Yeah, I know. That's a cool name for something, like maybe we do like a Lord of the Rings song or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Be a good name for it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Connor, who gets your vote for comment of the day?
Yeah. This was a good selection you had for me today. It really was.
I thought they turned out for us. So
good
job.
I wouldn't. Yeah, good job. Good job, internet. Yep. And I wouldn't have thought that, like, in the end, I don't know, would have any. It's not like most of the discussion when we read through this shit doesn't really have to do with the song, but it's just funny to me that in the end is the one that, like, we get all this weird commentary on. Anyways,
I know.
I think I have to give it to Cucumber Rounds.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That was really funny to me, and I got nothing else to say. I just that's my vote.
Cucumber Round, you are the winner of the day. I think it's just very fun to imagine that is that's the lyric. And I mean, that it could be pasted onto other Green Day songs, and that's also fun. It makes me think like it's like a VeggieTales version of Green Day or something.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
With exactly. Like less religious undertones.
Right. Yeah, although we'll get there eventually. So
we will. Yes, that's very true. We will get there eventually. Be happy 3288. Congratulations. You are our winner of the day, or winner of the comment of the day. Please get in touch with us to claim your prize. You will be rewarded handsomely. Connor, any final thoughts on anything we covered here on the podcast before we wrap it up?
Not really. This was a fun song to talk about, and I think it was kind of interesting to discuss a song that we, again, even though we both like it, as we do with any and all Green Day songs, it's kind of interesting to go through a song that we don't necessarily like as much. And yet it's still can generate as much, or in some ways, like kind of even more discussion on like
I
the
know.
things that
Yeah.
it's like what are we stuck on, or
Yeah.
what do we
Yeah.
feel like doesn't work. So it's like it was a great talk on a song
It
that I feel
was.
like is just pretty good, and that's
Totally.
kind of fun too.
It is fun. I think that's maybe a preview for what's to come in different parts of their discography. So yeah, good stuff. Folks, thank you for listening. If you want, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Green Dudes Pod. You can write us, send us an email at greendudespod@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, while you're on the interwebs, go ahead, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a nice review and a 5-star rating on that platform, and also Spotify. That would be much appreciated. But most importantly, folks, until next time,
Stay punk.
punk. Hell yeah, Cartman. All right. And this is a little bit after the podcast wraps, you get to see on video.
That's right. So check this out. You get to hear my impression now of Cartman.
Oh, hell yeah.
Instead of saying respect my authority,
Oh boy.
I'm gonna say I want to be the minority.
Oh,
What do you think of
fuck
that?
yeah.
Right? Okay,
I'm
so here
ready.
we go.
I'm ready. I'm
Check
ready.
this out. Check this out. Check this
Yeah.
out. Okay. I want to be the minority.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
So you just have to be here for that,
You
right?
have to be here. I mean, how could you pass this up? All right. Green Dudes out. That's my new catchphrase for this stream.
Sweet.